likely to cause breach of the peace against the deceased in his lifetime, following their roles in the incidents that occurred at the Chandelier Club and Elegushi Beach in June 2023, as well as the alleged assaults on Mohbad in October 2022 around the residence of Naira Marley at Lekki. Sam Larry admitted that he had multiple physical confrontations with Mohbad to get him to refund the 2 million naira which he claimed he paid to the late singer for a show which he claimed he did not honor. There are documentary evidence, international travel records, confirming that both Abdulaziz Fashola, Naira Marley, and Samson Balogun, Eletu, Sam Larry, were not in Lagos, Nigeria, when the events that directly led to Mohbad's death occurred between 10th to 12th September 2023. While Naira Marley was out of the country from 21st August to 3rd October when he reported and was arrested, when he returned and was arrested, Sam Larry was out of the country from 4th to 28th September when he also returned to the country and was arrested. On the demise of the deceased, his remains were buried at Ikorodu by his relatives on 13th September 2023, prior to the uproar that greeted his death and which informed the launch of the homicide investigation. On 21st September 2023, the corpse was exhumed, and on same date at about 16:00 hours, autopsy was performed on the remains of the deceased, and vital specimens were taken and sent to Lagos State DNA and Forensic Center for toxicology examination. The reports are still being awaited. Also being awaited is the official.
Nigeria is so corrupt. I wish I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria is so corrupt. I wish I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria.
It is so unfair. I smell shit from all of that presentation, and I'm so sorry that I didn't say that to you from the beginning. I wanted you to see all of that and form your own opinion. I smelled what? I smelled a script. I smelled a stinking shit in the air. Number one, the police already concluded before the autopsy report or toxicology report comes out at all that the nurse, it was the injection given to him by the nurse that triggered what later killed him before autopsy report at all. That means they've had the report already just before the result is out. And they were very specific as well. Since Naira Marley, Sam Larry, and every one of those they kind of mentioned, since they didn't really have physical contact with him, so at the end of the day, they will have to be charged for assault at the bullying, which indeed can be dropped by just a drop with a drop of a hat. That's how it's going to be dropped in Nigeria court, and that's it. That's how they're going to fizzle out. And then Nurse Feyishayo will now be the one in the front pages of newspapers. She injected Mohbad. It was the nurse. Now, that is a narrative that is going to spread everywhere right now. You understand? Nigeria police. I may be wrong, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything of passeo, but when I see a sort of a shady report, like the Nollywood script that you just watched for the past few minutes, I can tell you where this is headed. Okay? He smashed his hand. He was bleeding at a show. He was bleeding. This is somebody they paid to come and perform at a show, right? So they didn't take him to the hospital. So at least, the way the police described the bleeding, that means it must be something so much that the following day it was still bleeding. That means he was losing blood. So I sense Nollywood. I'm sorry. I mean, don't blame me. Okay, don't blame me. If you are from Nigeria and you know how Nigeria system work, then you understand that it is either I am right or I am suffering from the PTSD of distrust because of many of these kind of lies by the establishment in Nigeria. So it is either of them or both. I don't believe any shit that man said, the Commissioner of Police of Lagos State. This is where you would have probably seen, in another 5 years, you will just see them you will just see an interview. CC nurse that injected Mohbad, she has now come out with the whole truth. I was forced to accept that I injected him. I only gave him kiniko. That is not what killed Mohbad, though. You'll be hearing that later. And where would the justice be? It's already shady, isn't it? They've already started planting their own evidence. I mean, I would expect, what do they call those people where they do autopsy? What do they call them again? You know those ones where they carry out autopsy on dead bodies? And then they will come out later to announce what they, not police per se. Police is corrupt. They will be the one to now say, oh, when we check the system, pathologist, God bless you. Pathologist, they will be the one to now come out. They will tell you exactly, if now for this part of the world, though, in Nigeria, they will do it as well. Perfectly. No error. If they will allow them to do their job. You understand? They will tell you exactly what killed him. They will tell you exactly the moment. They will describe the moment before his death. Okay? So if it is a laceration from that cut that killed him, you are hearing something about tetanus injection as part of the injection they gave him. But the police already planted that story in the mind of everybody right now. Okay? It is true. Naira Marley and the rest are accepted that they bullied him. But they had their reason. Bullying is not homicide. Sure you get. Bullying sometimes, in fact in this case as well, the police has done so much to establish the cause of death by playing the scenario that led to the cause of death. That alone, with police reports, Naira Marley and everyone mentioned, apart from the nurse, everyone else mentioned, they walk out of either the police station or the courtroom just like that. Even though they are now saying they also want to, mind you, there's another point I almost forgot. There is another part of their report that painted Mohbad as drunk. Did you hear that part? He was drunk and he was acting somehow. They did not want to say maybe he was on drug. But later in that report, they said they want to wait for a NDLEA report because there was a video that Mohbad said they gave him something to drink at the NDLEA office. You remember that part? So the police in Nigeria started the story the 48 hours before the death of Mohbad. They painted it as somebody who actually started it. I don't know if you missed that part or you picked it up, right? They painted Mohbad as the initiator of what led to his death. Let me remind you. Police said when he finished his performance after 11 p.m. that evening, and he came out and he was in his car, there was another car that was blocking his car. So he decided to come down from his own car to go and tell those blocking his car to move. Then his friend, Prime Boy, Prime Boy, also jumped out of the car to stop him because Mohbad was drunk, intoxicated, and he was also acting out of place. That was the police report. So it was in the process of his friend stopping him from going to go and tell people to move they started fighting. Sure you get now, eh? And he started fighting with his own friend that they were sitting in the same car a moment ago. That fight escalated to the point that he wanted to punch his friend, and he actually punched the window of the car he came down from. In the process, he got his arm shattered by the window of the car, which is the beginning of his injury. Drunk, acting funny, fought his friend, injured his arm, started bleeding so much. His wife was there with their son, and he wasn't taken to the reason why I'm not indicting them. I'm just saying that according to the police is relying on the reports from eyewitnesses, according to them. And who are the eyewitnesses? Prime Boy, who fought him, Abi, the Jeep driver, his wife, his brother, his photographer, his DJ. These were the reports, according to police, so these were the eyewitnesses report that led to Mohbad injuring his arm. And he rejected to go to the hospital. No, I don't want to go to the hospital, but he's bleeding. The following day, that is like, let's say 12, 20 hours after that incident, they were still pleading with him to go and get medical care. He refused until his friend called an auxiliary nurse that just rushed in and injected him with 3 different medication that then triggered what led to his death. That is the story of the police. I want you to remember that, because there's still going to be more. So right now they said they are waiting for this report or that report. While they were dropping their own, the Nigeria EFCC said they have now received a court judgment that now allowed them to further continue the case against Naira Marley. And what is that case? Credit card fraud. 419 and the Yahoo stuff. Sure you guys see. Where they caught Naira Marley and his friends way back in 2021 or thereabouts. Was it 2021? They caught them with over 1,500 credit cards of different people. That was then, and they are now bringing that up again. And just before we go to our next convo, here is the, you can call it the highlight of what the police presented today. Again.
5 suspects have so far been identified, arrested, and detained and interrogated on their alleged roles in the sequence of events that led to the death of the singer. The summary is as follows. Ms. Feyi Sayo Ogedengbe is the auxiliary nurse who was contacted and invited by Yobami Sadiq, aka Spending, a friend of Mohbad, on 11 September 2023 to treat the singer at the deceased residence in Lekki. She eventually came on Tuesday, 12 September 2023 and administered 3 different injections, which are believed to have occasioned the chain of reactions that directly resulted in the eventual death of the singer. She is the principal suspect in the death of Mohbad. She acknowledged that it was the injections that she administered on the deceased that triggered the reactions which eventually led to Mohbad's death. Other expert opinions and witnesses' statements corroborated her admittance. Her actions of administering doses of tetanus toxoid, paracetamol, intravenous, and ceftriaxone injection, which was also administered intravenous on Mohbad at his residence, that's Mohbad's residence, on 12 September 2023, immediately triggered the reactions, including vomiting, goosebumps, and convulsions, that eventually resulted in the singer's death. This criminal liability is further heightened, granted the evidential fact that as an auxiliary nurse, she is not qualified to administer such medications or function as a qualified nurse. She also did this in a non-clinical environment and in a professionally negligent manner that negated standard medical protocols. 2. Mr. Yobami Sodiq, aka Spending. Sodiq is a friend to Mohbad who invited the auxiliary nurse to treat the deceased. He is being suspected of conspiracy in the death of the singer. His action in inviting a person known to him as an auxiliary nurse to attend to the deceased under a non-clinical setting occasioned Mohbad's death. He is being held for conspiracy to commit felony. Ibrahim Oluwatosin Owodunni, aka Cry Boy, is a childhood friend of Mohbad. He attended the show at Ikorodu in Mohbad's company on 10 September 2023. At the end of the show, Mohbad and Ibrahim were engaged in a violent fight, during which Mohbad was injured. The management of the injury subsequently resulted in his death.
Oga, good morning, sir. Oh, my powerful CEO, Jeje Laye Nigeria Limited. No, sir, I couldn't come to the office today, sir. My document. Which one, sir? The one I submitted? Yes, the one I left for my office, for my employment. Oga, it's not for Joe. I didn't forge it, oh. No, sir. No, you have gone to my school. Oga, I'm a director in this company now, and you know I've been working. Oga, I've been working with you for so long. Now I'm a director now. What? How can I? The truth has come out. Oga, you cannot sack me. You cannot sack me. Even our guy in our country now, or guy in our country that even forged his own too. They didn't. Okay, they didn't sack him now. They didn't sack him, but you cannot sack me. They didn't sack our leader in our country now. That forged his own. Okay, you cannot sack me. You cannot sack me. Okay, you cannot sack me. They didn't sack our own leader in our country, in Nigeria now. They didn't sack him now. He forged his own too now. I'm not the only one. No. You cannot sack me. Please. You have to forgive me. Maybe it's an error. Please. You cannot. I'm fired. Oga, they fire me, sir. You cannot fire me. You cannot fire me. Just to learn about our guy here. They didn't sack him. You cannot sack me. Please. I'm coming to the office.
What did you and say? What did you and say?
Ladies and gentlemen, as you continue to demand for justice for Mohbad, at the same time, you should pay attention to the scripts that the state would like you to believe. The ideal thing is for you to continue to ask questions. Ask them questions until they get angry. If they have nothing to hide, they will not be angry. Or in this case, continue to ask them a question. Now, let's go to this issue of a certificate forgery, image of Nigeria in the mud. That was what Atiku was saying yesterday when he did a World Press Conference. I don't know if it is just me or I don't know. That World Press Conference didn't really it didn't really change anything. Like it did not make any effect, if not for the obedient. Those ones who are very much determined in their belief for a better Nigeria that is possible, better Nigeria is possible. And everything that is going to help, right, expose the rot, expose the criminal system in Nigeria, which they believe has been the roadblock against the growth of Nigeria and then the betterment of the country. So they will go for it. That one is causing problem already. Because, Atiku could not get serious supporters. Now, Atiku's and APC supporters, they are like money for hand, back for ground. If the money wasn't forthcoming, they're not go show. Remember during the APC election in Lagos? Remember those voice notes I played for all of us here that time when people were lamenting that some people, they were given appointments. They are the ones who are enjoying the money. They are those ones who are fighting all of the obedient on social media. They are the ones trying to defend APC. But the real people, where they shop the money, all of them are in their different houses enjoying the money. They now expected all of these ombud slaves, sophisticated morons. I'm talking about the Lagos Sabobakus. They were complaining, lamenting. If you want to lose, all of us go just lose. That was when they started the Yoruba Ronu. Hey, Yoruba Ronu, if we lose power, finish, no free money, no free food. You remember those times, those are the kind of people, Nigerians, that you will see behind Atiku too. And the moment Tifnumbu has been sworn in, Atiku's boys, not all of them, there were those who still stay back, or those who are still getting direct pay. The majority of them don't move on. I've been now no time. Until next election, when Atiku is ready again, they go begin to shout again, Atiku for president, Atiku for president. Anyway, since this issue of Chicago State University expose on Tifnumbu started, and they started gaining momentum, it was the obedience. Once they saw it, they amplified it. They simplified it. They sort of make it so easier and interesting for researchers to be interested too. And you see me, I'll be researcher. So they got me more interested. In fact, you know what, obedience, what they have really done, apart from demystifying the traditional political system in Nigeria, demystified all of the lies you have been told. One of the other things they have done is that they have made my job much, much, much easier. I have to confess. These young Nigerians are too good. When you see any obedient anywhere, I'm talking about those ones who actually work with facts. They are just too smart. When you need legal interpretation on anything, they are just so too good. So they made my job easier. Usually I used to always kind of having to do a lot of background check on so many things I have to share. Until last year, when disobedience came, they became the Wikipedia of so many things. And wherever they see the truth, they will amplify it. Seriously, they have the audience. They were recorded to be more than 100 million all over the world. And that is true. And you can tell. The reason why, 7 months after your elections, they are still as strong as they were when they said they were just 4 people in a room. Give them their flowers all the time. I always do. They make my job easier. The moment I want to check on anything, they already have like 1,001 materials available with documents, with videos, with everything you want. All I need to do is just to check, go and double check that. And once I check 1, 2, I know, okay, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. Now I'll just come on to Mayegun's diary, political, and I'll start sounding like, oh my God, this guy is so good. How did you know all of this, Mayegun? Mayegun, how do you know everything like this? Let me give some of the credit to these young, brilliant minds. Some people believe that they are doing it wrongly. That such energy should be channeled towards asking for the complete either restructuring of Nigeria or the breakup of Nigeria. I said, listen, they are doing well. Because in the process of them demanding for a better Nigeria, they will discover that the only better Nigeria is a Nigeria where everybody is running their own affairs. A lot of things they didn't believe until now. For example, they didn't believe that technologically, that the government of Nigeria, INEC in Nigeria, can change the rule of the game in the middle of the game. They never believed it. They have heard about corruption. They have heard about what you could have heard about rigging and all of that. Majority of them have never really experienced it. Now they are now living example with so much experience of what actually was wrong with Nigeria, still wrong with Nigeria. Now, if they are demanding for one Nigeria that is working for everybody in that same regard, I strongly believe in where they are and the path they are on, they will discover that the only working Nigeria is a divided Nigeria. That's the only working Nigeria. But they will get there. Okay? They've discovered that election cannot save Nigeria. They now know. They've discovered that judiciary cannot save Nigeria. They now know. And there are so many other things they will still know. But if you give them that time, they are all fast learners. Don't forget, this time last year, a lot of you didn't even believe that they could move a pen until the entire establishment in Nigeria moved against them, blacklisted them, called them threats, called them fascists for demanding for a working country. I mean, you had a witness. So they are all fast learners. They've taken on the establishment than the establishment ever prepared for. Okay? And in this regard, Atiku came back to be so grateful that there were those who made his fights and expose on Tifnumbu in America so relatable, so easy to relate with, and then convenient to understand. A lot of you today are now so sure that the mystery of what do you call it, of 44 years of a fake man called Amodaye Kene Shongolere, sometimes called Adekunle or Ahmed, until he's now called Tifnumbu. The mysterious man who has no record, whose life and everything about himself is a complete lie. 44 years of a falsehood, of a false lie. Unfortunately, he is now the president of Nigeria. Unfortunately. Now, all of his criminal past, his criminal lives, his criminal career, is now rubbing on the rest of everybody who is carrying the green passport or flying the green, white, green flags. So, which means everyone, Tifnumbu's business is now everybody's business, whether you want to accept or agree or not. So, because the obedience are so vocal, demanding for their own stolen mandates, Atiku came out yesterday to call on them and said, I so much appreciate you. But please, I want you all to continue to support and work with me so that we can make sure that Nigeria is saved from this embarrassment and international disgrace, whatever. This didn't go down well with Mikano boys. They were so angry. They were like, how come that this Atiku case, now only this obedient carry on for head? Because a lot of you they would have to pay you before you can even talk about Atiku. Since he is not paying, and you know they work for free, and you are waiting for Tifnumbu, so you don't want to waste your energy. So that's why they took it upon themselves. And as for the Lagos Abobakus, I have never seen people so, no. Listen to this one. It's one of them.
Lagos State. Everybody has their own interest. But for the fact that you've aided a political, you've aided your own political candidate. Let's give him a breathing space to serve the people, which he has started well. Thank you.
Let's deal with facts. Not
yes,
sentiments.
definitely.
Not sentiments. I want to deal with facts. So, have you taken our time to read the raw copy? Over 200 pages of deposition, because I want to interrogate the raw copy. Definitely. Have you read everything? Yes, I've read everything. You've read everything. Are you sure? Definitely. Okay, good. So let me take you first to the part where the school talked about the fact that they didn't give the certificate that he submitted to INEC. You're a lawyer by training. There's something called the Evidence Act. Before you put forward a document that can be submitted under oath, it has to be issued by the authority issuing body. Yes. Mr. Tinubu submitted a document that in this deposition, CSU said they did not issue. Number one, what's that your interpretation of that? Secondly, if you submit a document, you claimed an authority issued and the authority claimed they didn't issue it. What's your interpretation of that? Secondly, Mr. Faratimi, I want to go straight to the facts. They talked about the case of Mr. Orr in the deposition, and I'm sure have you read the deposition fully?
I won't lie to you that I have. Unlike Mr. Azan, I haven't read everything.
Okay. They talk about a certain Mr. Orr, that after they dealt with the certification process, that left CSU, and they didn't know the circumstance at which they left CSU. They also confirmed that they gave Mr. Naira documents, because some people have been lying that Mr. Naira didn't subpoena CSU. They confirmed that they gave him documents. They even further revealed that the normal template that the president graduated from CSU was written many years ago, and they just used it to respond to email of people that make inquiries. They also further talked about the fact that they have no authentication as regards that Southwestern College. So the CSU themselves confirmed that they don't have any means to be able to authenticate if the records any students submitted to them is valid or not. Because I've read in details this, so that's why I'm asking you if you've read properly, because I want to deal with facts. So these are some of the facts on ground. Number one, I'd like to ask you, if, as a lawyer, an issuing body that you claim gave you a document said they did not give it to you, and you submitted that document under oath, what does that mean?
In the circumstance of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, stricto sensu, there was a missing, he requested for a reissuance of a certificate. And this is the diploma certificate we are talking about. And there are procedures in American system of education whereby documents, not all documents, especially certificates, they outsource printing of certificates in their own system. Their system is not like the way we run our own education as in primary, secondary. So far, you have all the prerequisites. And from their own records, it's just like their records standing against them now. You cannot appropriate and reprobate. The finality, which I'm still telling you, is the fact that from the Atiku's point of view, they need to still subject that to a thorough investigation. And that is where we want to maintain.
Sorry, can I come in? I come in? It's obvious, sir. No. You didn't read the document. Hang on a minute. Because it's obvious you didn't read the document.
No. You have just asked me a question.
No, let me finish.
That's the same way
let me finish.
You always preempt the person who's answering.
My brother, we come a long way. Are you emotional black?
Nuisance lele.
Anyway, just for the sake of viewers, the project in Nigeria for Tinubu right now is to help deflect. Did you hear that simple question? If you submit a document and the issuing body or authority says we did not issue that document, what does that mean? It means you have committed perjury. That is, you lied under oath that you are given that original document. So what they are now trying to tell Nigerians, let me explain this to you properly before we get on to the request of Atiku and the rejection of same by Obi. The bone of contention here is that Atiku didn't go to Chicago State University to go and confirm whether Tinubu attended the Chicago State University or not. Do you understand that? He is not interested to prove to Nigerians whether Tinubu went to Chicago State University or whether he graduated from there or not. He is only there to prove just two things. Okay? And that is whether Tinubu went to Chicago State University or not, whether he graduated or not, the certificate he presented to INEC in Nigeria, purportedly from Chicago State University, is fake. It did not come from the Chicago State University. That's the only thing. I mean, that's one of the things why Atiku wanted to prove. Oh, and that's exactly what he got from this whole drama. Eh? The second one is about his age. The date of birth. So, Tinubu lied under oath in Nigeria that he graduated from Chicago State University. He lost his certificate. Then he wrote to the Chicago State University for a replacement to reorder that diploma certificate. Chicago State University then sent him one. And Atiku wanted, and the one they sent to him is the one he presented to INEC. And Atiku just wanted to let INEC and then the law knows that Tinubu has lied. He had no certificate from Chicago State University. Okay? What he presented to you in Nigeria is fake. And Chicago State University proved that. And that is the reason for the headline, Tinubu forged his Chicago State University certificate that he submitted to INEC. He committed a crime. Now, you see, in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, in some part of southern Nigeria, the media is telling the people that Chicago State University has confirmed that Tinubu attended their school and graduated. But the only problem is whether he was male or female. And so to show that he attended Chicago State University, Tinubu, who told everyone that he wrote to Chicago State University for a replacement for a lost certificate, suddenly is ass lickers, crumb eaters, crumb chasers, shameless all risers are now defying other means to explain the story behind the fake certificates. So in one of their own reasons, they said Tinubu did not write the Chicago State University directly for his certificate. He contacted a third-party agent or agency. And according to these liars, which is what they are repeating on media in Nigeria as you are watching this video, they are telling them that all of us talking about this, we are just troublemakers, we are just noisemakers. Chicago State University has confirmed Kolu is you get. So they are now telling the people that in America system, if you go to school in America and you lost your certificate, all you have to do is to call Bashiru from Isale Koko, who is a graphic designer. Just tell him the type of design of certificate you want him to design. Bashiru will design you a very beautiful certificate. And that's it. You have your certificate. This is their new one. Before then, they were telling people that there is a third party that will always get the certificate for you, but they will design it for you. They have been authorized by the universities and schools in America. So when that didn't fly is when they change it to the other one. Okay? Well, take a look. If you lost your certificate as a student of Chicago State University, you would have to go onto their own website where you will make a formal request. You will fill the form with your details, including your SSN, social security number or student number and all of those things that will make it easier for them to trace your record. If you don't see that, if you don't have all of that, you will need to contact the registrar's office directly. Call them or write them. But in all of this, Tinubu did not do any of that. And talking about reading the position, they know they read anything. because they know say if they read, facts go they beat them. To those of you who haven't read the position, here is the part where Chicago State University registrar Caleb Westberg under oath admitted that Chicago State University does not have any third party that is helping them to issue certificates. Also, the certificate that is being paraded by Tifnumbu in Nigeria did not come from them. I remember, so you just go to page 29, especially from page 30, 31, then go on to page 33, 34, 35, 36. All of that is there, where it is confirmed that the certificate Tifnumbu is parading in Nigeria is a total fake. If you want that link, I'll send it back to you. So, having known this, as well as the collaboration of the Nigeria judiciary in ensuring that evidence are never looked into but technicalities, we know that they are going to throw all of the appeal out on technicalities. And that is why those who are handling Tifnumbu, they have told him to just keep quiet, don't say anything, don't worry, let everybody keep talking. But let us make sure that the Nigerian radio, televisions, and the rest of them, we tell them what to tell people. So, Atiku said that Peter Obi, Kwakwanso, Obedient, and all Nigerians should join him to save Nigeria's image in the hands of Tifnumbu. He called for his removal, and he also called on the Nigerian Supreme Court to do something and save Nigeria this disgrace. But as Nigeria is divided anyway, Nigerians are divided along those who are saying, of course, he's a drug dealer, he's a certificate forger, but he's the president. Una go deal with him and live with him like that. And those who are waiting for either Atiku or Peter Obi to call for mass protests. Others who are waiting for the Supreme Court to legitimize this illegitimacy and illegality and confirm Tifnumbu as your president, so that everything will just go down like boom. Everybody you know what I mean? However, Labour Party came out to say, well, sorry, Mr. Atiku, for your invitation. Okay? We would not be interested in that. We are already pursuing the legal way to make sure that Kolu is disqualified and Peter Obi reclaim his mandate. And you know they believe they won. I believe they won. Seriously, I actually believe that Obi won. With all of the state-sponsored terrorism on you people, your voters card being found inside soak away, dumped away elsewhere, right? As well as all the drama that I believe that if they had allowed all of you to vote, and then they started allowing you to kind of count your votes, Obi would have defeated Atiku and Tinubu, like in landslide. I strongly believe that, but they won't let that happen. And I don't think because I said that, I'm saying it because I probably like them. No. I'm saying we all saw what happened. Okay, we saw it. These guys, Obedient, they demystified that nonsense that if you want to be president of Nigeria, you must go to northern Nigeria and receive their blessing. If they don't support you, because they always vote for one person, they will never vote for Christian. They will never vote for an Igbo man. And all of those myths that they told us when we were growing up, some of us, as old as we are, we still believe those myths. Until Peter Obi and the Obedients came. They ravaged, you know when they say northern Nigeria, you'll be like, northern Nigeria, 19 states. Because the jihadist north always love to claim the middle belt part of Nigeria. The real highly densely populated part of northern Nigeria, the middle belt. They were shocked. And that is why their clerics, their Islamic cleric, their jihadist, provocative, divisive Islamist clerics in northern Nigeria who were bragging about jihad and the Muslim. That's why they were so angry. And they are still angry. Seriously, they are still angry politically with that you obedient and then Peter Obi. You demystified them. They said you wanted to cause religious crisis in northern Nigeria. Did you not hear that? They said that obedient wanted to, you, Peter Obi, wanted to cause a religious crisis in northern Nigeria. Because in northern Nigeria, they usually vote in one way. Okay? Now, anywhere where they talk, say everybody vote, there they will vote. Anybody, any Christian community that has failed to follow that directive, they are those that will suffer terrorism. Once the government, the Islamic North, the jihadist North, support. But obedience came. They ravaged everywhere. Entered Kano, entered Sokoto, entered the Kaduna, they entered Benue, entered Adamawa, entered Zamfara, Nasarawa, Baba. They ravaged the entire region. Northern Nigeria no can become decider anymore. Story here long, Gisha, that they have to actually stop the uploading of results. And they quickly went back straight to the old way, which has now plunged Nigeria into where you are today. The product of that abracadabra, the sick Kalu, is the one that is now fighting legitimacy. I will continue to give you your card, your flowers, obedient. They love to underplay or downplay what you achieved. You made powerful people that will sit down, pastors, clerics, that will sit down and predict conveniently of Nigeria criminal